Previously on Defenders of Umdaar, communion with the Etherstone revealed the location of a second one somewhere in the glacial lands of Sleetstone. Traveling there, the Defenders meet members of the Sleetstone tribe, whose people have been enslaved by Serpentis Rex's forces while mining the local glaciers. Infiltrating the caves proves dangerous, and Jaguarundi loses the Claw of Umdaar. Then the heroes are ambushed by Phantasmia and Thresher, and Jaguarundi is defeated and imprisoned. Lady Elena and Warble flee the mines as Serpentis plans to attack the Citadel and finally possess all 3 Etherstones. Stay tuned for our exciting conclusion.
You got your bubble tape?
I got my bubble tape. I got my Powerade.
I feel like I'm middle-aged now with my LaCroix and Gatorade Zero. Two-fisted drinking, hard style.
All right. So, Lady Elena has escaped the mines and accompanied many imprisoned miners back to their village before she and Warble take the Rough Rover back across the lands to the Citadel on the Sea and inform the Radiance Force of everything that had transpired in their mission. So you Lady Elena, inform, the Priestess Drusilia and Jet Skylar, the assembled group, of what happened. Commander Jet Skylar, obviously everyone is with a heavy heart, after everything that has happened and this news that they've just been delivered. Commander Jet Skylar declares, "This is madness. We must assemble our forces and mount a rescue expedition for Jaguarundi and seize the Etherstones."
Right away.
Warble, however, is, like he does, is perched near a window, and he interrupts the group as Princess Drusilia is, nodding, with all of her wisdom, just sort of agreeing with the consensus of the group. Warble says, "Oh, it may be too late, Defenders. Look!" And he kind of points one wing out the window, and over the horizon, you can see a massive force of assault vehicles kind of rolling over the horizon like a storm coming in. Everyone basically comes to the window, sees this scene of this massive force rolling over the horizon like a storm cloud.
They come by land, not by sea?
Would you... what would your character do in this moment to sort of get a closer view of what is going on? Would you pull up some high-tech binoculars? Would you send a scout out? Would you cast a seeing spell of some sort?
Commander Jet Skylar, what do your forces see? Who's in charge here?
Commander Skylar, puts up his wrist and says, "Outpost forces, what do you see out there? It's a hell of a scene from where we're sitting." And it kind of squawks back at him. And he just kind of confirms, the outposts aren't so far out that they're able to get a too much better view. They're just confirming, yes, it does look like they're rolling in, but it's hard to make out the details. I would say that Lady Elena, since there's nothing that magic can't solve.
Can't do.
Yeah, there's nothing that magic can't do. So I assume that you would, even as he's responding, cast some sort of oracle, seeing spell, something like that, a magic eye.
Yeah, we'll create she'll make a real cool glowy 3-dimensional globe view.
It would be an overcome. You're overcoming distance, inhibiting your visibility.
Less awesome for my clever, but I think that's what it is.
So yeah, basically you accomplish your goal. It's an even, no extreme one way or the other kind of advantage or disadvantage. So you can see in this sort of energy window that you manifest a bit more close-ups of these scenes where there is an army of forces, both ground and air. There is a massive airship further back from the front line of vehicles moving in. Likely, and you see it, and you know that's likely Serpentis Rex's mobile command center. And one of the vehicles in the forward assault is towing a sort of cylindrical energy container that holds Jaguarundi in stasis within. And within the vehicle is Globuz, who is waving the claw of Umdaar victoriously.
No! They have Jaguarundi. He's with them. We must rescue him.
Commander Skylar agrees, obviously, as previously stated, and immediately, clicks some buttons on his little power armor wrist gauntlet, and klaxons blare out across the Citadel, and he makes a sort of loudspeaker announcement. All residents of the Citadel, this just in, Serpentis Rex is waging war. His vehicles approach as we speak. All citizens must please take cover, seek shelter and safety. All Radiance Force members to the front lines, to the defense post. Huzzah! So how do you approach? Are you approaching on foot, by vehicle? Obviously the Radiance Force is, there's military defenses lining up and, defending and all that, but how do you, Lady Elena, approach the situation?
Is Globuz and his captured Jaguarundi at the front of the invading force?
They're within the frontline assault, but they're not maybe the foremost vehicle, It's like everything in Fate, it's a little abstract when you're dealing with large escalations.
Sure.
Right? Bill, I would, I don't know, to me it would seem like maybe the overall scene would be the two armies clashing, and so there's just sort of, conflict all along the whole line, and that wherever you want to be, we can just, like a cartoon, right? Just make that the focus, so that it doesn't matter, necessarily how you get so much from point A to point B. I mean, that is important, but it's not, the focus of the narrative. Instead, it's just if you had a sky cycle, you could get to where they are right away, and then we can just start the scene on that.
Yeah.
Agreed. Everything Isaac said.
I like the sky cycle idea.
Well, I mean, figure, right, that you'd have access to whatever vehicle you wanted, right? Basically.
Yep. And you come in, so you are amongst the military forces as they take their position to meet the oncoming forces. You sky cycle forward, brazenly, going straight in for that, to free Jaguarundi as quickly as possible.
Okay.
I'm going to say
I can picture the animation in my head.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, and this is a superb effort because you're weaving through oncoming forces. You're trying to get to the specific vehicle that Glowbuzz is in that's towing this sort of energy prison. So it's a superb effort, which is a 5 difficulty. So what do you think the best approach, if you're coming in on Sky Cycle, kind of guns blazing or like magic using, what do you think the approach is for that?
I think she's likely to coordinate with Commander Jet Skyler and his the deployment of his forces, and even though she's moving quickly, she can make a careful approach by plotting to move behind different vehicles, smartly maneuver around large things that would not be able to respond quickly to her presence.
I totally agree. So let's get a careful roll on the board.
I need another.
You need to boost that up.
Yeah.
You can rely on aspects to bring that up. You can spend fate points to invoke aspects.
I think in these rolly, grassy dunes in the valley, we can really take advantage of some of the make an extra effort to really take advantage of whether it's hiding beneath the grasses or dodging around one of the extra dunes. Maybe dipping a little bit lower than she originally planned, but being able to get there in a smart and effective manner.
Okay, so you're kind of bobbing and using the terrain to as a form of misdirection to reach your destination. So
yes.
Spend a fate point, and that'll boost it up to a 6, which is 1 over your target number.
Yes, and to position as much as I can, as many of the other air vehicles as I can, between me and Glowbuzz. Sorry.
Okay, that sounds like it would be another aspect, probably a boost. So if you succeeded with style, you could probably apply the boost of that extra gold. But currently, you just reach your destination is the best you get with standard success.
Well, I think using all these wins could really kind of like help push us to where we need to be, and as those air vehicles are fighting against those wins, we'll be able to make that happen.
Okay, so you push that up to a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 3 over. You succeed with style. What is the boost that you create?
Oh, I like that we've kicked up a lot of sand and it's looking with the energy tow.
Energy cable's broken, and that is a boost. So basically his little prison kind of unit thing is kind of it's free floating, but it's no longer directly tied to Glowbuzz's shit. That Glowbuzz would act next. He's still got the Claw of Kundar in one hand, and he retracts his other hand inward, and it comes back out in that glowing buzzsaw, and he fires at Lady Elena with these spinning radioactive buzzsaw blades. You're carefully dodging. He sent the message. He's trying to knock you off, but your sky cycle through the air and manage to swerve and avoid the incoming buzzsaw attack, which brings it back to you.
Let's deactivate the force field holding Jacaranda using magic. We'll mash some buttons around, whatever buttons we can find on the outside.
Okay.
Or the ones that look most appropriate. I don't know.
Sure. Okay, so you're using magic to overload the. I guess paint me just a slightly more detailed description of your magic. Sure. Disabling.
Quick question beforehand. Do we have lots of, I was kind of picturing there would be a keyboard and buttons or some kind of on-off switch on this containment unit. Probably a bunch of other buttons too, and she's happy to just use her magic to start mushing all of them.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna say that is quick, because you're kind of frantically. I mean, not like you're in a state of a frantic state, but your action is, frantically kind of mashing the controls, so to speak. You're button mashing.
Yeah.
So
totally.
it's going to be a quick overcome action.
All right. Aw.
So that is a fail or succeed at a serious cost.
Nope. We're good. We are really gonna. We like the way this works. I mean, the energy cables have broken. We are.
Oh, you can use that. You have that boost, the energy cables.
Yeah. So I think that is the way to go here. So as the energy cables have snapped, they've already started loading the circuits. We've already blown a couple transformers or transfusers, or I don't know, I'm not an electrical engineer.
Right.
But those things that blew up.
So that brings your total to a 3, which is 1 over what you need, which is a success. You accomplish the goal, and suddenly all of the energy, surrounding the whole thing just flickers and dies out, and both of the disparate parts fall to the ground with Jaguarundi lying in the sand somewhere in the middle. And he, very quickly, he instantly sort of starts to come to.
So yeah, Jaguarundi shakes his head and says, "Now it's time to bring Globuz to justice." So what I want to do is get down on all four, do a 3-4 paces of super cat running, jump up, and basically kind of crawl up onto Globuz's hover ship, and just either grab the controls or force the pilot to just take it straight down.
All right.
And then a cat flourish moment to jump off. Well, I'm going for flashy.
I was the two that stuck out in my mind were quick and flashy, and I think flashy. I know you're good at flashy, and that's the idea, and so. Oh, I'd say that's worth spending a fate point, because that means flashy's your highest ranked approach, and so that's like a -3 on the something like that. It's pretty low. It's a low dice roll. It might be worth a fate point to reroll. What aspect are you invoking to reroll?
I will invoke the Radiance Force's military defenses.
Buffeting them with laser fire. Nice.
Ooh.
That's more like it. So I'm gonna say that it is. So you succeed with style. So go ahead and narrate to me what happens, and then tell me what boost you want to create.
Globuz just gets thrown out of it, and then lands into a pile of sand.
Head in the sand?
Sure, yeah. Head in the sand sounds perfect.
You're in the sand. There's a crashed vehicle, embedded in the sand. Globuz has flown forward, and he's half buried, head in the sand. Which brings it to his turn. So my option here is, should I use an overcome action to eliminate that boost, or just say that he pulls himself out of the sand, but you can still use that boost against him because he is a machine man. He's got sand all up in his circuits, so you could make...
He's got uneven footing and is still recovering.
Right.
I'm leaning towards still using the boost.
Okay, cool. So he pulls himself out, and very quickly, he's gonna run at Jaguarundi and attack.
Okay, I will use my cat-like reflexes to jump out of the way.
The attack doesn't harm the target, but he would gain a boost against you. Do you want to use the head in the sand so that he fails?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So that it slowed down his, servos and
Yes.
pneumatic actuators.
Yes, absolutely. So with a mouthful of sand that he's pouring out and kind of spitting as he talks, he comes at you. Vroom, vroom. Oh, you'll not escape from me again, filthy cat. But misses you with each strike. And I think that's gonna pass it back to Lady Elena.
Great. Lady Elena remains on her sky cycle, suspended in the air.
Yep.
Great.
Buzzing around.
Nothing special, but she'll take advantage of this vantage. Take advantage of this vantage to create a long glowing light that will quickly wrap around the sword of Kundari and jerk it up into the air.
Out of Globuzz's grasp?
Well, let's find out.
Awesome. What's the approach for that?
Right. I was gonna say if it's a yank, it'd be forceful. But if she's like waiting for the right moment, if he's fighting with me off balance, or like when he tried to attack, if she used some aspect of like what else was going on, then that could be careful.
I'm not objective to either of those.
Agree. Okay, so why don't we compromise? It's gonna be forceful for both of you. How about that?
All right.
It's a tug of war. Makes sense to me.
Jerk. Oh.
Ooh. Globus got one higher.
Well, I am in the air and flying, and I really feel that we could just kind of like bank our little sky cycle a little bit and use the wind to kind of help us gain some momentum and force and really jerk that out of his hands.
All right, I'm totally into it. I'm not gonna fight you on that. You wrap a magical ray of light around the claw of Kundar, yank it from his offhand, and have it in your tractor beam like grasp.
I don't get to do anything else in this action, so
We can say that that he receives the sword.
Right.
as she pulls the lasso and flips the sword so it comes spinning and hurtling down into Jaguarandi's outstretched hand. Or
Yes.
Awesome.
So you can also change your aspect of that you've lost the claw of Kundar. You now have retrieved the claw of Kundar.
So with the Claw of Kundar now fresh in hand, I'll do some really cool close-up, fast moving without moving very fast, and then strike. So using like clever footwork, I come at Globuzz and then manage to slip around the side of him. And as I'm moving around his, Globuzz arm, I swing at one of his, retractable appendages.
He's countering with similar fast robot foo motions. It's a flashy off.
oh, bring it up.
I'm gonna use the aspect of retrieving the Claw of Kundar.
You also have a stunt, by the way, that you could use in this case.
Does the stunt cost a fate point as well?
No. It's just I believe you can only do it once per scene, right? It's some sort of like similar to by the power of Grayskull type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Ancestral spirit of Kundar, guide my blade. If I spend a fate point, can I bring it up to a?
Fuck yeah, you can.
Okay, so I'll still use the aspect of retrieving the Claw of Kundar. So it's like the extra.
Endorphin rush.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're invoking the Claw of Kundar aspect and using your stunt to push your result up to a
6.
Up to a 6, which is success with style. So you drive the blade through past his blocking buzzsaws, and it bites into his chest. Do you want to deal the full 3 shifts of damage, or do you want to deal 2 shifts and get a boost?
And if I do the boost, it's open to either one of us to use, right?
You can allow Lady Elena to use it, yes.
Yeah, we'll do 2
Okay.
shifts. Two shifts and a boost.
Okay, so he's gonna mark off his 2 shift stress box. And what is the boost?
Damaged containment field.
All right.
Right, because the blade cut into his like chest piece cavity.
Yeah. That cursed blade has bit through my machine man casing.
Yes.
But no matter, I will shave you and hang you out to dry. And he spins about. His torso's doing like a 360 as he's using his legs to sort of flip about. How does the cat defend?
Quickly, by pouncing out of the way.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Ooh. He's gonna spend a fate point, invoke the aspect of massive army of shadow, using the like strafing fire and the bedlam that's going on around you as an added distraction to bite into you. So that's gonna push his results up to a 6.
I'll use the aspect of the rolling grassy dunes to say that I was able to like kind of position myself so like in a where he couldn't quite get a full swipe, and then use the damage containment field to say that he's leaking power, and then I can get my response up to 1 below.
All right, so he is going to succeed with 1 shift. You're gonna cross off a stress box for that?
Yeah.
So you mostly manage to jump out of the way, but he does have a strafing strike as you leap to the side. I'm gonna pass it back to Jaguarundi.
Drop him. Get your vengeance.
Right. So Jaguarundi is going to. I'm going to do a maneuver to try to create an advantage. So I want to just straight run up the front of Glowbuzz and jump over his head.
All of his good stats aren't very useful here, so I'm gonna say that he's being careful in this situation. So yeah, you still do get a boost.
Okay.
So the boost is just Glowbuzz distracted.
Yeah. I will throw it
So
to
Lady
Elena.
Elena, gotcha.
Great work, Glowbuzz. Now it's time to drive out some evil. She's gonna floor the sky cycle and just try to ram it into Glowbuzz, jumping off at the last minute.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going for the forceful approach in this. She is just gonna floor it and just go straight at him.
All right. He is. I wouldn't say if he's distracted. It seems like he wouldn't be using a flashy or a quick maneuver.
Right. Like if he's a robot man, I feel like forceful. Like he's just gonna try to like be
Just
stronger
just
than
take
the
it.
impact.
Sounds good to me. So go ahead and give me forceful versus forceful.
Standing on these like uneven surfaces on a pitch, distracted, I really feel that the ground is in my favor.
Bring it up to a 5 for you. It'll be 2 shifts
believe
over. So that would be a success. So the attack hits and causes damage of 2 shifts. He already has his 2 shift stress box taken off, so I'm forced to either take a consequence or cross off the 3 stress box. I'm going to cross off his 3 stress box. He's hit in the back as that explosion, dies out. You see his slightly hunched over form wincing from the impact, but still standing in the slipping sands. It's his go, opening up that damaged reactor core in his chest, and Glowbuzz can drop his nuclear shielding and get a +2 to sneakily attack if he is in one-on-one melee combat. So he's gonna do a sneaky attack, and he's spending a point to invoke his aspect, Sworn to Destroy Jaguarundi.
Ah.
Oh.
Yes.
Having battled Glowbuzz before,
Yeah.
he's like kind of ready for this, but I can avoid the radioactive burst if I
Sure.
maneuver my body around him enough.
Yeah, careful then. That's a 7 over your 1.
So that is 3 stress and 2 stress and a moderate.
And so what's your moderate consequence? going to be-
Radiation poison.
All right.
Oh.
Yes. He's at the end of the turn, so he can give himself the top of the turn initiative order.
Okay.
I think he's going to send 2 flying buzzsaws, so he does that against Jaguarundi. Jaguarundi's forced back and weakened, and then he turns his body about with all of his fervor and fury and says, "It's time to end the defenders once and for all!" and fires a couple of spinning, glowing saw blades in the direction of Lady Elena crouched in the sand. So that is going to be ranged attack. It was generally quick for him.
She's gonna generate a flashy fast force field, which I feel is a little more forceful than flashy, but I want it to be actually like flashy. But that's not core of it.
So forceful?
Yes.
Forceful force field? Alright.
Yes, the force. You don't win defending. I don't want to waste stuff. Let's take it.
Take 2 stress.
Oh my god.
Could also be
What
the
do you
chance
think?
to
Should I-
concede.
That's true. You wanna? Are we all in, or or do you want to run?
I mean, we'll get some fate points back.
I mean, we can clearly just jump up and hitch a ride with some other flying airship from our team.
I'm torn because I really want to defeat this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might. A draw might be the best we can hope for today.
All right.
You don't have to defeat Serpentis Rex. We just have to turn back this assault.
That's true. All right, so I think what will happen here is Lady Elena, you give the initiative to me, right?
Yeah.
Lady Elena will hop over and around Mr. Annoying Glowbuzz, grab onto Jaguar and his sword, and send out a little magic beam of light and grab onto one of our teammates' passing airships and swoop off.
As the passing airship catches your grapple and speeds you out of this dangerous situation, Globuz waves victoriously, his fists in the air like, "Ha ha ha! Yes! Run, you cowards! Our moment of victory is nigh!" Ha 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 ha! And the military forces of the Army of Shadow just have been walloping the Radiance forces, and as you hop on as you reel yourself in onto the vehicle, and you hear Commander Skylar's voice come over like the intercom in the ship's cockpit, and he says, "We've got to pull back! Their forces are overwhelming us! It seems almost unstoppable!" You can see that big giant command ship sort of has made its way closer and closer, like hovering over the front line. And you hear Skylar say, "We've got to get someone on that command ship, shut down its capabilities. It's guiding them too successfully. It's empowering and organizing their forces to overcome ours." The Radiance Force members piloting the ship say like, "You heard Commander Skylar.
Take us in.
You two are on a speeding on a aerial transport heading towards the command ship of Serpentis Rex. There are various enemy aerial ships buzzing about, providing some kind of defense. And the objective of the cliffhanger is to overcome the many defenses of the command ship and to board it. You have 5 approaches, and 3 of them have to be successful overcomes.
I think Lady Elena could do a pretty good job of clearing out some of that clutter. That's part of the overcome.
Okay.
As we reach it, there's no particular barrier as we catch up to the ship of Serpentis, as she creates like a big magical fan and blows those other ships away.
I would still say that sounds forceful.
All right. Not so great.
That is going to fail.
So, like taking over the controls for the vehicle, I'll use a succession of quick maneuvers to avoid the incoming fire.
Excellent. Sounds great. That is a success.
Hey!
Okay.
You maneuver through them, get yourself closer to the to the main, the gargantuan command ship.
I feel like we're pretty much there. Now we got to figure out what to do to get in. Am I wrong on that, Aaron?
That sounds right. I mean, we're painting the narration as we go, so I'm willing to go on board with what you just said because it makes sense.
You could also like maybe try to locate like a weak point in the exterior of the ship.
Ooh.
And I think that would be careful, right? It would be like trying to find...
Or a clever?
Either, yeah, for sure.
Lady Elena will create a few little magical viewing screens around being able to look at the ship from multiple angles.
Okay. I'm going to... So Clever has a certain difficulty to it. I'm going to drop it down by 1 because your tactic is not one I accounted for. So I'm going to drop it a step of difficulty down.
Thanks.
So go ahead and roll me a Clever. That's not quite going to do it.
Do you want to spend a point?
I think so.
Or
As she
approach?
looks around at the ship of Serpentos, or the command ship, she has a great recall from her time studying in the Library of Alexandria, which included studying many modes of transportation and metallurgy.
You boosted up to a 4, so that is a success. That's 2 successes, and you have 2 more approaches. So what are you doing next after successfully locating like a weaker point in the hull that you might be able to target or hone in on?
Where would we like that weaker point to be?
I feel like I'm gonna try to fly this little ship through it.
Okay.
In a very forceful, ramming
Forceful ramming maneuver and hoping for the best. Lady Elena, do you want to try and maybe create an advantage that would aid his forceful maneuver?
Let's paint a magical, glowing bullseye on that aspect of the ship, helping Jaguar Ending know exactly where to go.
Would it not be a flashy approach?
Oh, I like that too. It's all going to come out in the wash in these dice anyway. But yeah, let's go flashy.
Oh. That's not going to do it.
Yeah.
So unless you want to
No,
deficit
we got to make
yourself,
these rolls
just take
work
it,
because
yeah.
we only get so many of them.
So you send the magic, up there, but it seems to hit some sort of like maybe an energy shield or something like that you couldn't see, and your light magic just kind of like makes that form of a target but almost instantly dissipates as the ship goes flying, picking up speed, flying towards that location. Jaguarundi, piloting the ship, make me a forceful overcome.
And I'm gonna use my stunt. Strength Kundari to gain +2 to forcefully overcome a challenge.
So you bump that 2 up to a 4. The ship comes crashing in. The other 2, the Radiance Force members, they've like jettisoned out of the ship. Lady Elena and Jaguarundi braced for impact, and the ship comes crashing into the hull. And you find yourself following down the hallway. You find yourself to be in, to locate the forward command center of the ship. And the interior of the ship is like, sci-fi technology with strange, like snake-like organics running through it. Ooh. As you turn the corner and view this command center, you see a view screen that's like got the Citadel dead in its sights. From the shadows emerges a form that says, "Quite a brazen move on your part, infiltrating my command center in such a way. But you will find that though you are but a nuisance to me, This action will spell your end, defenders. And Serpentis Rex is the form speaking that emerges from the shadows. So in addition to the overall aesthetics of the ship's interior, you can see, off to the side, encased in, layers of mechanical bindings, a red etherstone and a blue etherstone, both like packed and encased in, this sort of technology.
Your reign of terror ends here, Serpentis Rex. The Defenders of Light will stop you.
You are the one they call Jaguarundi, yes? You may be a big, strong cat, but to me, you are but a fly in need of swatting.
Did he just call you a butterfly?
What aspects do you think should be out there? How about encased etherstones? Weird technology.
Weird science.
Do you want to use the floating ship as an aspect?
Hundreds of feet above the ground. I'm gonna say it's a quick off to see who gets initiative first.
I like it.
You like it? All right. We'll let Jaguarundi take the top of the initiative, and then he can pass it however he sees fit.
All right. I'm going to do like a backflip somersault sidestep away from Serpentis Rex, and I'm going to use the Claw of Kundar to strike the thing that's holding the ether stones. Like I'm going to try to destroy the enclosure. And I'd say that's probably forceful because I'm using the sword to try to smash. I'm trying to overcome the aspect, like I'm trying to free the ether stones.
I'm going to invoke the aspect of weird technology. This makes the difficulty 2 harder. You earn a fate point that you're not able to break through and overcome that aspect.
I'm going to pass it to Lady Elena.
Jaguarundi, do you want my help, or shall I handle Serpentis?
Yes.
Get back, Serpentis, and we'll blow a big flashy light show at him, creating an advantage.
I guess he would carefully defend. All right, Lady Elena. So yeah, you cause us distracting kind of light, bright fireworks display all around Serpentis, and he sort of like has no way to back and kind of trips backwards, over some of the technology running through the room. He's just gonna collect himself, swiftly and determinedly move towards Lady Elena. The cats I will deal with, but I can tell that you are going to be the real pain in my side. He's got this kind of like other gauntleted hand that he's been keeping back a little bit, and it comes from under his cloak and just rushes at you, and as it does, it like glows with like a powerful dark energy. You feel the energy from it like seeping into you.
We'll have none of that. Force fields to push him back. I get a free invocation of off balance.
You push yourself up to a 4. So he still succeeds, but does not succeed with style. You feel some of that energy lick at you internally and lash at your very essence.
Take the stress. Filthy darkness dimming my light.
He's gonna pass it to Lady Elena.
And he's awfully close to touching me. That's pretty gross. Let's retreat and bind his feet with magic.
So you're essentially trying to create an advantage with an existing aspect, right?
Yes.
Off balance. Careful, be careful then.
God, can we break your dice? I will pass the turn to Jaguarundi.
All right, I'm going to try one more thing, and then I'm going to full-on join you. But first, I want to, again, like Cat, maneuver myself across this room and just drive the Claw of Kundar straight into the big control panel.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, they said take out the command center. That's what's making them win the battle.
You're right.
That's true.
That was our goal. Those ether stones were just a perk on the side.
Okay, so that sounds forceful.
Yeah. I will invoke hundreds of feet above ground and say that as I was coming down, the airship moved and then popped back up. So it just made it like that much more force as I came down.
You would tie, which would get you a boost.
Losing altitude?
So you slam the Claw of Kundar into the control panel, starts sparking, and everyone can feel the ship like dip, blaring klaxons, and confusion. Man, Serpentis is just...
You have become more of a problem than I anticipated. With the forces of shadow, I would cast you off of this ship.
And a bright, like, maroon and black bolt of energy just, like, streams out of it.
Yeah, I'll use quick to dodge.
Now he's gonna fate point this. Because he is a muscle-bound wizard of shadow, he is amplifying his attack, and I'm going to give you that fate point because it is being used against you. So he succeeds with style.
So that means it's a shift of 3.
Yes.
I will just mark it as the 3 spot.
3 stress box. So yes, you start to leap, but he catches you in mid-air and hits you with a beam of force.
Ooh!
And then he's going to pass initiative to himself.
Of course he is.
Advance on Lady Elena, and with his cane out, striding out, he's going to come in an uppercut fashion with the glove coming straight for your torso, or with the clawed gauntlet.
More force fields.
Ooh!
Oh, motherfuck. There goes
It's
my
actually-
PG-13 rating. He has the stunt, the Shadow Manus, which is an item with life force drain. Whenever you sneakily attack and succeed with style, you can do one of the following. Remove a boost or a free invoke from an aspect that an enemy can activate, or upgrade your boost to an aspect with 1 free activation. He's actually going to deal 3 shifts of damage and get an aspect with 1 free activation. Essentially, the item itself is like vampiric and has absorbed part of your essence. This horrid artifact of shadow has tasted of your soul and taken a part of it. It just sort of like leans back and goading you.
All right, you slithering slime bag. So, in the way that, like, have you ever seen a cat bite a snake before? So I want to, like, rush him, and then as I'm, like, making this big show of coming up in one direction, I'm just going to sidestep the other way and just hack at him with the sword, like Mike Tyson going from regular stance to Brooklyn Southpaw.
Like he's trying to
Clever
outsmart.
person knows.
He's
knows
trying to
how
outsmart your
avoid
feint.
paint.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll say clever. All right, he will cleverly defend.
Okay, I'm rolling.
Ooh.
And I want to invoke the boost.
So yeah, that would be 3, and he'd have to take he'd probably cross up his 3 stress box and have to take a mild consequence. So he's got the consequence rattled. You can invoke consequences against people just like aspects. That was Jaguarundi's turn. Assume you're passing it to Lady Elena.
Yes.
Well, and now that we have this lovely opening that you've created, Lady Elena will step away from Serpentis and step over to the first of the other stones that you had taken a swing at. And she looks at the damage, or not so much damage, of what you've done, and looks for like the weakest link and creates a magical crowbar and tries to pop the stone out of the machinery.
It's not very clever.
Okay.
Because you've already seen someone use try to break through the machinery and not be able to do it with an ancient artifact.
Oh, that's true.
Though I do believe
Okay.
that this is a perfect example of self-compelling yourself, that magic can solve any problem, even though there's a good chance that it can't. So you're forcefully trying to pry the technology that's encasing the ether stones away. Go ahead and make that a forceful roll. Damaging the ship is a difficulty of 4, the way you guys have been going about it. So that's a tie, Lady Elena. Which would you could succeed in getting it loose at a minor cost. The cost of putting in that extra effort, you have to cross off your number 2 stress box. It was physical stress.
Non-trivial cost.
No, it's not supposed to be, but it's not.
You got an ether stone.
Yeah, that's true.
So that changes the aspects of the scene in a pretty significant way. What is your end game? What are you
Getting
gonna
off
do?
the ship with the other stones.
Okay. So I feel like this is no longer a conflict.
Bearing Cobra Commander no longer has the ability to lead, Destro and Dr. Mindbender comb the tombs of the most evil leaders in history, and from their genetic tissues produce a composite clone, the ultimate Cobra Emperor, Serpentor. Introducing Serpentor, the ultimate Cobra Emperor.
Serpentor, the most evil foe of G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe. Cobra!
Cobra Emperor comes with air chariot.
They came by land, by sea, and through the air. Super Gobots, guardians and renegades prepared for battle. Razor, Spy Eye, Throttle, and Super Duper, seeking Vamp, Night Fright, and Clutch.
Mighty robots, mighty vehicles, robots.
Super Gobots, each sold separately, new from Tonka.
You guys are trying to. How are you getting out of here? How are you planning to get out of here? You know this place is swarming with troops.
Well, we did get here from our
Yes,
ship.
in a crashed ship that no longer works because you flew it into a big.
Yeah, but it does make a nice exit hole from the ship.
Okay. All right. So you guys run away from Serpentis. You obviously, you're trying to get to the hole, to get out the hole that you came in. There are hordes of troops standing in your way. How are you going to overcome them?
I would imagine with some flashy swordsmanship and some magic, make it through the hordes, right? Like we're not battling anybody so much as we're just trying to clear a path.
Okay, so
Like an
you guys,
icebreaker.
so you guys are trying to force your way through with magic and swordplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're opposing you with force and great numbers. So this is a fantastic difficulty. Like, you are
What?
extremely outnumbered. You're trying to run and battle your way through.
Feeling forceful?
Yep.
Get it.
We'll add a +1 to that from teamwork, but you need to bring it up to beat a 6.
Well, can I invest a fate point in his roll?
Yes.
Well, I hate when things don't go according to plan. and I feel like
And yet here we are.
has gone according to plan. But we're gonna make this happen.
Yes. Okay. So you're sitting at a 3, brings it up to a 5.
Isaac, you gonna? I like the teamwork. Let's do it as a team.
Right. So yeah. So then, can I invoke a point?
Yes.
And I will use the new aspect of having retrieved the Claw of Kundar. But after being separated from it for so long, I'm so enthused to have it back that I swing it harder than normal and more aggressively, and
Just chopping a swath through the weeds of minions. Yes. All right. So that will bring you up to a 7, which is a success. So you make it through the hole that you carved in the hull of this ship is within a short leap away. Serpentis, offering opposition as he chases you, is going to try and magically seal off the area. So this is going to be a contest of a sort of magical duel, warding light magic versus shadow magic between Lady Elena and Serpentis as he gives chase. And I feel like it's a forceful versus forceful,
Right?
because he's trying to seal off your escape, and you're trying to use light magic force to block his attempt.
it's just like a head-to-head battle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I invoke? I know it's not on the board anymore, but the rattled
Yes.
consequence against Serpentis
Yes. the fact
to
that he is
remove 2
rattled.
points from his.
So he would succeed at a minor cost on a tie.
I don't like that.
You don't. I feel like you don't like that. Are you?
I don't
willing
like
to
that at all.
Fate point back it up. Don't like it.
I know that light will always us.
Ah, yes. So you.
Light will always drive out the darkness.
So you boost your powers out and push back the encroaching dark energies, and it comes back to you. Are you just diving out of the ship and hoping for the best? How are you getting out? I mean, you're there by the exit, but how are you dealing with it?
I mean, I believe magic is the solution to any problem.
Yes.
I say we just. I'm gonna grab your hand, and we're just gonna jump.
Let's jump. Well, I'll magic cushion our fall when we get closer.
No, you don't need to roll for it. You jump out and you're falling, and you almost lose grasp of each other, but Lady Elena strengthens her grip and cast a spell that just kind of envelops you and slows your fall to the ground. Okay, so now you've got to make it back. So you've got to make it back to the Citadel through an active war zone and get your way up there. So I'm going to say that too is a fantastic difficulty. And I'm gonna say that's quick. Who made the last big text?
Lady Elena.
Lady Elena.
Let's get it quick from Jaguarundi, leading Lady Elena through this intense fracas.
Ooh.
One shift isn't going to do it.
No.
Boy, can I compel myself?
No, because the roll's already been made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so if I was going to compel myself, would I do that before the roll? And just take the loss? Is that
Yeah,
how
you
that
would
works?
do it in like, before you decide your course of action, you would be like, hey, can I do this thing to make life more difficult
Totally.
for my character? But you would do it before you rolled and spent fate points and declared your actions and stuff. So this is going to have to be, so for you to succeed, it's going to have to come with a serious cost.
Well, I feel like at any point in the game, this is the one where it's worth taking on a serious cost. And I'm assuming, like, based on the calling it a, the severe whatever, that it would be like some sort of permanent damage, like, Jaguarundi would like lose an eye or, have a permanent injury to his left leg or something along those lines. Would that be like an appropriate?
Of the two of you, you managed to lead with Lady Elena in tow your way through this battle, right?
Right, and I just use my body to take all the damage.
Yeah, basically, like, get to the steps of the Citadel's tower, and it's only then that Lady Elena is able to look and see how badly wounded you are, and you collapse. Like, you're taken out.
Totally. That's what I was thinking.
I think it's unfair. I don't like the idea that Jaguarundi has to carry the brunt of that.
Oh, there's still more. There's still like 3 more steps. I just want to get those ether stones inside that citadel. We need to save the day.
All right. That's dramatic and heroic.
So Jaguarundi like uses his body to shield and just push the way through, and they.
Right. You get Lady Elena to the steps of the Citadel, and just as she opens the door and like kind of urges you, like, okay, come on, Lady Elena, you look down and realize that he is terribly wounded and lost consciousness, and is like, in your mind, very likely dead. In your mind, your interpretation of it.
Jaguarundi! No! No!
For the forces of light.
Yes, Lady Elena, you gotta keep going. I would say this is a slightly easier one because you're in the home stretch, but I'm going to need a good, which is a 3 difficulty, quick success to make it the rest of the stretch up the tower to reunite the ether stones.
Do I have to run? Can I not just fly up?
Oh, no, you don't have to run. But I've never seen you fly before, so I guess I never thought of it. But you cast a spell to propel yourself. Either way,
Fueled by
it's
the
a
power
quick
of the
test.
ether stones, like holding them and like helping them rejoin, letting that union power propel her up to the center of the tower as the stairs wrap her up.
Oh, sure, yeah, because that would look cool. Yes, I totally agree. Okay, but it's still going to be a quick approach with a difficulty of 3.
Okay. No fate points.
So I still have 1 fate point, but I'm out of the contest. Is that still invocable?
If there is an aspect of yours that you think would help Lady Elena in this situation that doesn't require you to be conscious to justify invoking, then you can totally help.
The spirit guardian of Kundar, right? The essence of the sword itself, may have some small amount of its own, you call it consciousness.
So as Lady Elena is like propelling herself and she's trying to gain like enough momentum to like get there in the nick of time, she can tell that she's not able to quite muster it. Cut down to Jaguarundi's lifeless body, and out of his sheath, the sword flies out and flies through the halls of the Citadel to ultimately just land itself in Lady Elena's hand and increase her speed and propel her the rest of the way up to her destination, where she lands in a super heroic stance right before the green ether stone.
Yes.
And yes, reunites the ether stones. Lady Elena, I need you to narrate to me what happens to seal your victory when you unite the ether stones.
With a huge boom and a bright flash of white light, reverberations centered in the tower reaches out, turning back the powers of shadow, decimating their armies, flipping their vehicles, smashing Serpentis' ship against it like a bug on a windshield.
His vehicle crashes short of the gates or the walls of the Citadel proper, right? And you think you might have seen from the smoke and the wreckage of his crashed ship, one of the smaller vehicles that was being repelled swoop by and possibly grab up, maybe someone from the wreckage, but you can't be sure. So yes to all of what you said, yes, and when the light settles down and the ultra intense radiance settles and is replaced by the soft glow of normal Umdarian daylight, you find in your hand a much smaller gem, about the size of like a tennis ball or something like that. But it is clearly in the shape of like a jagged heart and is tricolored, made up like of the fused together ether stones. A voice instinctively kind of like calls to you, and you know that you hold in your hand the heart of Umdaar.
Ooh.
Nicely done.
The forces of light are victorious and Serpentis is defeated. His remaining forces scatter and flee back to the shadows that they once emerged from. A grand celebration erupts throughout the Citadel, and word spreads quickly to all the free people of Umdaar. But deep within the shadows of an unknown location, a dark figure groans with discontent, though his form remains unseen.
No, it should have never been. Serpentis always lacked the competence, the sheer power to enforce total conquest. It is not a mistake I shall make again.
Okay, I gotta pause for a second, guys. I have a chicken emergency.
Go for it.